What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Throwing Tantrums podcast. This segment is Behind the Tantrum, so just essentially just me giving you guys updates of what's happening with the company. So let's get right on to it. If you're watching this or reading this on the newsletter or wherever the heck you are, this past weekend was one of our dancer's birthdays, Spillers. So what we did with him is battle for 27 rounds because he turned 27. But those of you guys who are not familiar with hip hop culture or dance culture or b-boy culture, one of the ways that birthdays are usually celebrated is through battles or dance contests, or dance offs is what some people call them, but we call them battles. So whatever age they are, they have to battle for that many rounds. So in this case, he had to battle for 27 rounds. I think the challenge for him on that was surviving those 27 rounds because in terms of battling, if you've never battled, it's essentially like high intensity interval training. You are going intense for like 30-40 seconds, taking a short break to give your opponent their turn, and then you go back in. And then imagine doing that 27 times. Also, this past weekend, we had a great recording session for our Patreon and YouTube. So we recorded reactions to Street Man Fighter and a lot of smaller stuff for our YouTube. Going into Street Man Fighter, this was probably the most heated we've ever been in regards to reactions. For 2 episodes, we strongly disagreed with the judges. It was to the point that we had to pause in the middle of filming, and we've never done that, to just rant about how bad the calls were. Because, again, for 2 episodes, we disagreed with the judges, whether in terms of the battle rounds, the choreographers, the challenges. It was something else.
What? All right, that's it. Episode 4. We're done. There's nothing. There's nothing to watch. Thank you. Look. Disbelief. Absolute disbelief. Why are we watching this? Why do you have me on for this episode?
So if you guys like Street Man Fighter or Street Woman Fighter, and if you guys want to check that out when it's released, it is going to be exclusively on the Patreon. We can't release documentary or full reality TV style reality TV reactions because of copyright reasons, so which is why it's a Patreon exclusive. In terms of the smaller reactions, shouts out to everyone who's been supporting all the reactions. Even more so if you guys have been supporting the non-reaction content, whether it's the podcasts or the dance videos, because the main reason we have this channel is so we can share dance videos with you guys, and the main reason we're doing reactions is because as a company, I think we all have some level of experience when it comes to dance, and I just like the whole dance education aspect of what makes these dances really, really fun to watch. So even though you guys are watching a dance reaction video, to us we're doing dance education. There were a little bit of challenges though when it came to filming the reactions. First off, it was a new location. We usually film it at Noelle's place, but she was out of town and she's also going to be moving. So Chrissy and her husband Ryan, both members of her Temper Tantrum, opened their home for us to do the reactions, which was perfect because the space they had was a lot of fun. It felt a little homier rather than just sitting in front of in a conference room. And it's also we also had an opportunity to have other people who've never done reactions. So Ryan's never done it, Kat's never done it, and Spillers has never done it. And those are people who I'm assuming that you guys don't know, but those are just members of the dance company. And then we also had 2 additional guests because it was also Christian's or Spiller's birthday. So this is the most people we've ever had doing these reactions, so I'm excited for it, for you guys to check it out. Moving forward, I'm probably going to keep it to like 5 to 6 people because it got really cramped on that couch. And also, one of the other things I'm currently concerned about right now is, since the spacing is a little different, because we finally got a flow of how to set up the microphones in the conference room at Noelle's place. Now it's a completely different space, and it's around a couch, and there's more people and like different distances. So I'm a little concerned in terms of how the audio quality is going to be, whether it peaks too much or some people are too low because they're leaning back in the couch and chilling. So, but overall the result was great. We managed to film a good, like a couple episodes of Street Man Fighter and some reaction YouTube content. And one of the main reasons we chunk these things in terms of filming is, like, we batch film everything, is because the last thing I want to do is ask the team to film this once a week or every other week, because we have lives, we're adults, and there's other things we want to do aside from just doing temper tantrum related activities. So it just makes sense to work smarter by batch filming everything and then spacing it out. So in terms of the dance end, the main project that we are working on right now is a routine called Love in Motion, which is a number we performed for our show Universal Rhythm. We have about a month until we do filming. So we finished a good chunk of the Love in Motion routine this past weekend. I think one of the challenges this past weekend was one of the choreographers was sick. So we had to delay on working the pieces. But nonetheless, we made it work. We managed to finish one of the closing numbers of that piece, and the blocking, test shots, everything, what we needed, because this particular number was delayed for months. We touch it for a little bit, work on it, and then get close to finishing. But because of project scope and shifts in schedule, we weren't able to do it. It's August 26th right now. My ideal situation is that we would have everything done by July, but based off the result of on one of our film shoots, the morale of the team and all of that, it just made more sense to slow it down. And by slowing it down, made everything easier. It goes back to one of the lessons I shared in one of the previous podcasts, which is make haste slowly. You'll make progress faster if you take your time, and that's what we've been doing. And honestly, yeah, the rehearsals have been like it's been flowing. It's been fluid. It almost feels easy. And again, I shared this last week in last week's podcast too. It's like I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. I'm like, but even then, we like one of the choreographers couldn't show up because they were sick. We managed to make it work. Things got done anyways. So yeah, okay. So lesson of the week is have the hard conversations. Avoiding stirring the pot just makes things worse, because what you permit, you support. So if there's someone who it has been toxic in your organization, your dance company, your group of friends, or even in your relationship, if you don't speak up, that means you support it and that you allow it. I mean, it's valid that you're scared, that you don't want to stir the pot, that you don't want to ruffle any feathers, but uncommunicated expectations only builds resentment. The reason that one is really coming up is because I have to make some calls to some people on my dance company Tantrum about their status as members, and part of me is anticipating just the awkward conversations of it. I don't like getting on the phones for these types of conversations, but it has to be done. Yeah, so that's the lesson of the week. Have the hard conversations with whoever you need to have them. If it gets heated, obviously step away. The worst thing you can do is try to have a very heavy conversation with high emotions. Step away, cool off, have a clear head, and then come back at it. Something to also keep in mind is that you don't have control on how the person is going to respond. Hopefully they have the emotional intelligence and maturity to hear you out and have some empathy about where you're coming from, because you have zero control in how a person responds when you are being honest with them. The only thing you have control over is yourself, and the best thing for yourself is to be open and honest and to have that conversation. That's it. Have a great week, or depending on when you're watching this, hope you're having a great day or evening, wherever the heck you guys are.